There is a strange reason why most traders never become consistently profitable. It isn't because they lack intelligence. It isn't because they chose the wrong strategy. It isn't because they don't understand charts. In fact, many losing traders know almost everything there is to know about technical analysis. They know support and resistance, supply and demand, price action, risk management, indicators, market structure. Some have spent thousands of hours studying, thousands of dollars buying courses, thousands more searching for the perfect strategy. Yet somehow their account continues moving in only one direction, down. Now here's the part that almost nobody wants to hear. The market isn't testing your strategy, it's testing you every single day. Every candle asks the same question. Can you stay patient? Can you control your emotions? Can you accept uncertainty? Can you follow your plan when your brain is screaming for certainty? Most traders believe trading is about predicting the future. Professional traders know something completely different. Trading isn't a prediction game, it's a decision-making game, and your decisions are controlled by one thing: your mindset. Think about this. Why do intelligent people still revenge trade? Why do experienced traders still panic sell? Why do people who understand risk management still risk far too much? Why do traders who know exactly what they should do still fail to do it? Because knowledge changes what you know, mindset changes what you actually do, and those are two completely different things. The truth is, your biggest competitor isn't another trader. It isn't the institutions, it isn't the algorithms, it isn't artificial intelligence. It's the voice inside your own head. The voice that tells you to move your stop loss, the voice that tells you to enter early, the voice that whispers, "This trade feels different. This time, go bigger. You can't miss this move." Every blown account begins with that voice, and every professional trader learns one lesson. You don't become profitable when you find the perfect strategy. You become profitable when your mind stops working against you. Because the market doesn't reward excitement, it doesn't reward confidence, it doesn't reward predictions, it rewards discipline. And today, you're going to discover the trading mindset that quietly separates professionals from everyone else. Not because professionals know secret strategies, but because they think differently. Once you understand these mental shifts, you'll never look at trading the same way again. Most traders believe they have a strategy problem, but they don't. They have a reaction problem. Every time the market moves, your brain reacts before your logic does. A green candle appears? Excitement. A red candle appears? Fear. A breakout happens? FOMO. A losing trade closes? Frustration. The market itself is neutral, but your mind gives every movement a meaning, and that meaning determines your next decision. Think about the last time you broke your trading plan. Did you wake up that morning planning to ignore your rules? Probably not. Nobody sits down and says, "Today I'm going to destroy my account." It happens much more quietly. One small compromise, one tiny exception, one thought. This setup looks close enough. I'll just risk a little more this time. I'll move my stop loss only once. I'll recover the loss with the next trade. One decision becomes another, then another, until suddenly you realize you're no longer following your system. You're following your emotions, and emotions are terrible traders. Here's something fascinating. Your brain was never designed for financial markets. Thousands of years ago, your ancestors survived by reacting quickly. If they heard a strange sound in the bushes, they didn't stop to calculate probabilities. They reacted instantly. That instinct kept them alive. But the same instinct quietly destroys traders, because trading rewards the exact opposite behavior. Instead of reacting, you must pause. Instead of chasing, you must wait. Instead of seeking certainty, you must become comfortable with uncertainty, and that feels completely unnatural. That's why trading is so difficult. You're not fighting the market. You're fighting millions of years of human evolution. Every impulsive trade, every revenge trade, every emotional decision is simply your brain trying to protect you. The problem is, what protects you in nature often hurts you in the market. Professional traders understand this. They don't try to eliminate emotions. That's impossible. They simply stop allowing emotions to make decisions. Fear still appears. Greed still appears. Doubt still appears. The difference is, Professionals notice those emotions without obeying them. Imagine standing beside a fast-moving river. You can watch the water flow past, but you don't have to jump into it. Thoughts work the same way. Just because your mind says buy now doesn't mean you should. Just because your mind says move the stop loss doesn't mean you should. Professional traders learn one life-changing skill. They create space between feeling and acting. Inside that tiny space, better decisions are made, and better decisions, repeated over hundreds of trades, create extraordinary results. Because in the end, the market isn't controlled by your emotions, but your trading account often is. And until you learn to master your reactions, no strategy, no indicator, no mentor will ever be enough. Because every profitable strategy eventually reaches the same obstacle, the person using it. There is one habit that quietly destroys more trading accounts than almost anything else. It isn't using too much leverage. It isn't choosing the wrong indicator. It isn't even taking bad trades. It's the constant need to be right. Most people grow up believing that being wrong is failure. At school, the wrong answer loses marks. At work, mistakes can cost promotions. In everyday life, being right often earns respect. So naturally, people bring that mindset into trading. And that's where the problem begins. Because the market doesn't care whether you're right. It doesn't reward opinions. It doesn't reward confidence. It doesn't reward ego. It only rewards good decisions. You can analyze a chart perfectly, follow your trading plan exactly, manage your risk professionally, and still lose the trade. That doesn't make you a bad trader. It makes you a trader. The market is built on probabilities, not certainty. Think about flipping a coin. If the coin has a 60% chance of landing on heads, would you expect heads every single time? Of course not. You could flip it 5 times and get tails 5 times in a row. That wouldn't change the probability. Trading works the same way. Even the best strategies lose. Even hedge funds lose. Even professional traders experience losing streaks. The difference is, professionals never take a losing trade personally. Beginners do. After one loss, they begin questioning everything. Maybe my strategy doesn't work. Maybe I entered too early. Maybe trading isn't for me. Then they abandon their system, search for another strategy, start over, and repeat the cycle. Months turn into years, not because they lacked knowledge, but because they never trusted probability long enough to let it work. Professional traders think differently. They don't ask, was I right? They ask, did I follow my process? That single question changes everything. Because your process is under your control, the outcome is not. If you followed every rule, accepted the risk, and respected your plan, then you've already succeeded, even if the trade lost money. That idea feels strange at first, but it's one of the biggest mental shifts a trader can make. Winning doesn't always mean you traded well, and losing doesn't always mean you traded badly. The market doesn't grade you after one trade. It grades you after hundreds. That's why professionals think in months. Beginners think in minutes. Professionals build careers. Beginners chase quick wins. And over time, those two mindsets create completely different lives. The moment you stop needing every trade to prove you're right is the moment trading starts becoming much easier. Because now, you're no longer fighting the market. You're simply executing your edge again and again and again. That's how consistency is built. Not by being right all the time, but by doing the right thing even when the outcome doesn't go your way. And that is a lesson most traders spend years trying to learn.
There is something almost every beginner believes. If I could just control the market, I'd finally become profitable. But professional traders eventually discover something surprising. The market was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be respected. Think about the ocean. No sailor tries to control the waves. No surfer tries to stop the tide. They understand one simple truth. The ocean is bigger than they are. So instead of fighting it, they learn to work with it. The market is no different. Every day, millions of people try to force the market to do what they want. They hold losing trades because they believe the price should reverse. They refuse to accept losses because they believe the market must prove them right. They keep averaging down, hoping reality will eventually match their expectations. But the market has no obligation to fulfill anyone's expectations. It simply moves. It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know where you entered. It doesn't care how badly you need this trade to work. It only reflects supply and demand. Nothing more, nothing less. Professional traders understand this better than anyone. That's why they never argue with the market. When the market tells them they're wrong, they simply accept it. They close the trade. They record the lesson, and they move on. No anger, no revenge, no emotional battle, because they know something beginners often forget. Every minute spent arguing with the market is a minute spent ignoring reality, and reality always wins. Here's an uncomfortable question. How many of your biggest losses started as small losses? Think about it. Very few traders destroy an account because of one bad entry. Most destroy it because they refuse to accept one small mistake. One small loss becomes a bigger one, then an even bigger one, until the account is damaged beyond repair. Not because the market was unfair, but because ego became more important than discipline. Professional traders protect themselves from this trap. They don't see closing a losing trade as failure. They see it as professionalism. Just like a business owner accepts expenses, a professional trader accepts losses. They're simply part of doing business. The goal isn't to avoid every loss. The goal is to avoid the losses that never needed to happen. Because once you stop fighting the market, something remarkable happens. Your stress decreases. Your decisions become clearer. Your confidence becomes quieter. And for the first time, you stop trying to prove yourself right. You start trying to trade well. That small shift changes everything, because profitable traders don't build their success by controlling the market. They build it by controlling themselves. Have you ever noticed something strange? The market doesn't change. People do. The charts you look at today are built from the same emotions that moved markets 100 years ago. Fear, greed, hope, panic, confidence, regret. Technology has changed. Trading platforms have changed. Artificial intelligence has changed. But human psychology has remained almost exactly the same. And that's why history repeats itself, not because the market has a memory, but because people do. Think about what happens during a strong rally. Price keeps climbing. Everyone starts talking about easy money. Social media fills with screenshots of massive profits. News headlines become more optimistic every day. Suddenly, people who never cared about trading want to start trading. Why? Because the crowd makes success look easy. Now imagine the opposite. The market crashes. Red candles appear everywhere. Fear spreads. People begin selling everything. The same traders who were excited just weeks ago now believe the market is finished. Nothing about the market changed overnight. Only emotions did. Professional traders understand something very few people ever realize. The crowd is usually the most emotional at exactly the wrong time. When everyone feels unstoppable, professionals become cautious. When everyone feels hopeless, professionals begin paying attention, because they know the market doesn't reward emotions, it rewards objectivity. This doesn't mean professionals always trade against the crowd. It means they never allow the crowd to think for them. They don't enter trades because everyone on social media is excited. They don't panic because everyone else is afraid. Their decisions come from a plan, not from public opinion. Ask yourself something. How many trades have you taken simply because someone else looked confident? A YouTube video, a Telegram group, a Twitter post, a friend, a random influencer showing huge profits. Without realizing it, you weren't following your strategy, you were borrowing someone else's confidence. And borrowed confidence disappears the moment the trade goes against you. That's why professional traders spend far less time chasing opinions and far more time building conviction. Because conviction doesn't come from watching more videos, it comes from trusting your own process. The strongest mindset in trading isn't built by knowing what everyone else is doing. It's built by remaining calm when everyone else is losing theirs. Because in the end, the market doesn't reward the loudest trader.
It rewards the calmest one. And the trader who learns to think independently already has an advantage that most people will never develop.
There is one question that almost every trader asks. How can I make more money? It sounds like the right question, but it's the wrong place to start. Professional traders ask something completely different. How can I become the kind of person who consistently makes good decisions? That sounds subtle, but it changes everything. Because money is not the cause of success, it's the result of it. Think about a professional athlete. They don't wake up every morning thinking about trophies. They think about training, nutrition, discipline, recovery, repetition. The trophy is simply the byproduct of thousands of small actions performed correctly. Training works the same way. Every beginner dreams about the outcome, a bigger account, financial freedom, quitting their job, living life on their own terms. There's nothing wrong with those dreams. The problem begins when those dreams become bigger than the process required to achieve them. Because when you become obsessed with money, you start forcing trades, you increase position size, you chase losses, you ignore your plan. Why? Because your attention is no longer on making good decisions, it's on making fast money. Professional traders know that fast money often becomes fast losses. That's why they focus on habits instead of hopes. They ask themselves questions like, did I follow my rules today? Did I manage risk correctly? Did I stay patient? Did I remain emotionally disciplined? Notice something. None of those questions mention profit, yet answering them consistently is exactly what creates profit. This is one of the greatest paradoxes in trading. The traders who obsess over money usually make less of it. The traders who obsess over improving themselves often end up making far more. Because the market has a strange way of rewarding people. It doesn't pay you for wanting success. It pays you for becoming the person who deserves it. That's why mindset isn't something you develop once. It's something you practice every single trading day. Every chart, every trade, every loss, every win is another opportunity to train your mind. And eventually, without even noticing, you stop thinking like someone trying to make money. You start thinking like someone building a professional career. That is the moment everything begins to change. Not because the market became easier, but because you became stronger. And once your mind becomes stronger than your emotions, the market loses its ability to control you. That's the real edge. Not a secret indicator, not a magical strategy, but a mindset that remains steady, no matter what the market decides to do. There is one mistake that quietly destroys more trading careers than almost anything else. It happens after a win, not after a loss. After a win. Most traders believe winning automatically builds confidence. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it builds something far more dangerous. Overconfidence. Imagine a trader who has just won 5 trades in a row. Everything feels easy. Every decision seems correct. He starts believing he's finally figured out the market. His position size gets bigger. His patience becomes smaller. His rules become optional. He begins taking trades he would have ignored just a week ago because success has changed the way he thinks, not the market. The market is exactly the same, but his confidence has quietly turned into arrogance. And the market has a strange way of humbling arrogant traders. One oversized position, one emotional decision, one unexpected news event, and suddenly, weeks of profits disappear in a single afternoon. Professional traders know this pattern very well. That's why they treat winning with the same respect as losing. After a profitable trade, they don't celebrate too early. They don't suddenly believe they're smarter than everyone else. Instead, they ask one simple question: did I follow my process? If the answer is yes, the trade was successful. If the answer is no, even a profitable trade becomes a warning sign. Because professionals understand something beginners rarely see. A bad habit that makes money today will eventually lose much more tomorrow. Imagine driving through a red traffic light. Nothing happens. You reach your destination safely. Does that make running red lights a good habit? Of course not. You simply got lucky. Trading is exactly the same. Sometimes breaking your rules makes money, but luck has a way of disappearing when you need it most. That's why professionals never confuse luck with skill. Luck comes and goes. Skill stays. Discipline stays. Good habits stay. The market doesn't reward traders who are occasionally brilliant. It rewards traders who are consistently disciplined.
And consistency isn't built during your best days. It's built during ordinary days, the quiet days, the boring days, the days when nothing exciting happens. Because greatness in trading isn't created by one incredible trade. It's created by hundreds of ordinary decisions made correctly, one after another, month after month, year after year. Eventually, those small decisions become your identity, and once discipline becomes part of who you are, success no longer feels like luck. It simply becomes the natural result of the way you think.
There is one habit that almost every consistently profitable trader shares. It has nothing to do with indicators, nothing to do with chart patterns, nothing to do with secret strategies. It's reflection. Professional traders spend more time studying themselves than studying the market. That may sound surprising, but think about it. The market gives you feedback every single day. Every trade tells a story, not just about price, but about you. It reveals your patience, your discipline, your confidence, your fear, your habits. Most beginners finish a losing trade and immediately look for another setup. Professionals do something different. They stop. They ask questions. What happened? Did I follow my plan? What was I thinking before I entered? What emotion was driving that decision? Because they understand something powerful. The market is a mirror. It reflects back the person sitting in front of the screen. If you're impatient, your trading will reveal it. If you're fearful, your trading will reveal it. If you're greedy, your trading will reveal it. You can hide those habits from other people, but you can never hide them from the market. That's why professional traders keep journals, not because writing is exciting, but because memory is unreliable. After a few weeks, most traders forget why they entered a trade. They only remember whether they won or lost. Professionals record everything: their thoughts, their emotions, their mistakes, their victories. Months later, patterns begin to appear. Maybe every revenge trade happened after 2 consecutive losses. Maybe every impulsive trade happened during high volatility. Maybe every oversized position came after a winning streak. Those patterns become impossible to ignore, and once you can see them, you can change them. That is where real improvement begins, not by finding another indicator, but by becoming aware of yourself. Because awareness creates choice, and choice creates change. The market isn't asking you to become perfect, it's asking you to become more aware than you were yesterday. Professional traders understand this. They don't chase perfection, they chase progress. Just one better decision, one better habit, one better trading day, repeated hundreds of times. That is how ordinary traders quietly become extraordinary. Not overnight, but one lesson, one journal entry, and one disciplined decision at a time.
There comes a moment in every trader's journey when they realize something uncomfortable. The market was never their biggest opponent. They were. For years, many traders believe success is waiting somewhere outside themselves, in a better strategy, a better mentor, a better indicator, a better trading platform. They keep searching, keep switching, keep hoping, believing the next system will finally solve everything. But eventually, the search becomes exhausting, because every strategy seems to work until emotions get involved. Every trading plan looks perfect until real money is on the line. Every rule seems easy to follow until fear and greed begin whispering in your ear. That's the moment everything becomes clear. The strategy was never the problem. The problem was consistency. Professional traders understand something that most beginners don't. The market doesn't reward people who know the most. It rewards people who consistently execute what they already know. Think about that. How many trading books have you read? How many YouTube videos have you watched? How many strategies have you learned? Now ask yourself a harder question. How many of those things do you actually follow every single day? Knowledge without execution changes nothing. A trader who knows 10 strategies but follows none will always struggle. A trader who knows one simple strategy but executes it with discipline for years has a completely different future. Because consistency is what compounds, not excitement, not motivation, not intelligence. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you'll feel inspired. Other mornings you won't even want to open the charts. Professional traders don't wait to feel motivated. They rely on habits. They follow routines. They trust their process, even when they don't feel like it. That's what separates professionals from amateurs. Amateurs trade based on feelings. Professionals trade based on standards. They've built systems that don't depend on emotion because they know emotions change every day, but principles don't. And when your principles become stronger than your emotions, something remarkable happens. Trading becomes quieter, calmer, more predictable. Not because the market changed, but because you changed. You stop chasing excitement. You stop needing constant action. You stop searching for shortcuts. Instead, you begin building something far more valuable, a mindset that remains steady whether the market gives you profits or lessons. And that mindset is something no one can ever take away from you.
Now let's return to the question we asked at the very beginning. What is the trading mindset that changes everything? After everything we've explored, the answer is surprisingly simple. It isn't about becoming fearless, because fear never completely disappears. It isn't about predicting every market move, because no one can. And it isn't about finding the perfect strategy, because perfection doesn't exist in trading. The mindset that changes everything is accepting that your job is not to control the market. Your job is to control yourself. Every trading day, the market gives you a choice. You can react or you can respond. You can chase or you can wait. You can follow your emotions or you can follow your plan. Those choices may seem small, but over hundreds of trades, they become your results. The traders who succeed over the long term aren't the ones with the highest IQ. They aren't the ones with the most indicators. They aren't the ones making the boldest predictions. They're the ones who continue making good decisions even when emotions are trying to convince them otherwise. Think about where you are today. Maybe you've lost money. Maybe you've blown an account. Maybe you've questioned whether trading is really for you. If that's true, understand this. Your past does not define your future. Every professional trader has made expensive mistakes. Every consistently profitable trader has experienced doubt. Every disciplined trader was once emotional. The difference is, they didn't allow those moments to become their identity. Instead, they learned, they adapted, they improved. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one trading day at a time. Because success in trading isn't built in one extraordinary moment. It's built through thousands of ordinary moments. The moment you choose patience instead of impulse. The moment you accept a small loss instead of creating a large one. The moment you close your laptop instead of revenge trading. The moment you trust your plan instead of your emotions. Those moments may feel insignificant, but together, they build the trader you eventually become. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. Trading isn't simply a way to make money, it's a journey of self-mastery. The market exposes your impatience, it exposes your fear, it exposes your greed. But if you're willing to learn, it also teaches discipline, resilience, humility, and emotional control. Those lessons reach far beyond the charts. They change the way you think, the way you make decisions, the way you approach uncertainty in every part of life. So the next time you open your trading platform, don't ask yourself, how much money can I make today? Ask yourself, can I think like a professional today? Because when your thinking changes, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your habits change. When your habits change, your results begin to change. And that's when trading stops feeling like gambling and starts becoming a profession. If you enjoyed this video and want to master the psychology behind consistent trading success, make sure to subscribe to NeuroTrader. Because on this channel, we don't chase shortcuts. We build the mindset that lasts. Thank you for watching. And remember, the greatest edge in trading isn't found on your chart. It's found inside your mind. I'll see you in the next video.